back too. Gee whiz, that happened quick.
That's me.
That was you. Right there you go. I gotta have the glasses on because I need to read comments if they come through, and without it, I'll struggle. But anyway, man, you just got back from a run, so I hear.
Yeah. There's a secret reason behind it which I cannot reveal here.
Oh,
Maybe I'll tell
you
you privately.
you're cutting for a weight category. We got the
Nah,
return of Pradeep.
something which nobody would be able to guess. I'll give a hint. I need to get an MRI done in a couple of days from now.
Okay, okay. Well, I hope all's well. Hope all's well. Hope
Yeah.
it's all good on that front. But man, I haven't been live for ages, and I just thought we'd go live and seeing that I'm here in India. Who better to go live with than Pradeep? You guys are up so late. That's the first thing I'm going to talk about. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's Chetna Sharma. Pradeep looks so lean. Yes, Chetna.
Yeah.
Pradeep
Getting
is Pradeep's
80,
cutting weight.
82 now.
My goodness, you'll be in Chetna's weight division soon. We can
That's what
actually,
that's
you can actually have the super match between you guys.
that's what I'm cutting for. That's what I'm cutting for.
Nice, I like it. Hey, I forget what I was saying, but anyway, what did you think of the event that's just gone by and the events that are coming up? Like, what are the standout moments for you?
I think the event was amazing, and as Devon and some others have mentioned, I think Coach Day too, it just looked like East versus West. To me, like we all have grown up watching WWF. Back in the day, it was like WWE or WWF Raw with the red kind of theme, which is East versus West, and the SmackDown was blue. And those were the color combinations for East versus West and King of the Table as well. So I think if they're just stuck with the blue color, forget about everything else, change the rules. I don't care, have the matches that you wanted to have on East versus West, doesn't matter, but just keep that blue theme on Instagram, on the YouTube thumbnails and everywhere, so that kind of, it can make a separation. And also the background and stuff in the actual arena,
Yep,
if they
yep.
if they just make that color separation, it would have been awesome. By the way, best King of the Table so far, I think. Definitely.
Best king, was it best king of the table in terms of lineup or in terms of
Lineup.
production? Lineup.
Lineup.
Yeah, the lineup. I'll tell you, I was excited about the lineup, but then when I got the opportunity to be there and interview everyone, I've never been as excited for a card. I was like, every single match is a killer.
Yeah.
Oh, it was good. But for me, I think the most entertaining match of the night had to be Nugo and Matt Mask. I, I think Nugo is everybody's favorite arm wrestler
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Even before the first round, when I was doing live commentary, I said one thing: they should have a super match every single event. If it is close, I don't care. I'm ready to watch these two every event. East versus West, King of the Table, book them 8 times a year. I don't care.
Yeah.
That was really entertaining.
Matt Mask has an ability to lose and swear in such a respectful and entertaining way. Like he took the loss well, but it was
Yeah.
so funny. It was so funny. The language barrier. And Hugo was yelling at him in Georgian, and he said, what the fuck are you saying?" I don't know what. It was so good. I loved it. I loved
Yeah.
it.
Amazing match.
I didn't. I watched it all back, and actually, so Neil and Travis are commentating for that match, and hearing it all back, and when I could hear every single word that the arm wrestlers were saying, which was something that they did improve big time, was having the audio on the table. The back and forth between those two dudes was so much fun. I loved it. I
Yeah.
love it. Hey, we got a super chat, Pradeep. We got a
Yeah.
super chat. I'll go you halves on all
You
the super chats
you
tonight
got a
too.
super chat.
I got a super chat, but I'll send you half of it. I promise you.
No, 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 no,
No,
no,
no,
no,
no. I
no
haven't done
need.
this. That's always been my policy. When I go live with people, if we get super chats, we get super chats. Anyway, Mark, the man, says, "Good evening, gentlemen. Congrats to Ryan patching things up with Engin. Looks like Robert's a good influence on Engin. Build bridges, don't burn them." There you go. And people can like the super
Yeah.
chat now. This is a cool little feature. I like this.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mark. Yeah, I got to meet Robert and Dexter was awesome working there, obviously, and to catch up with Engin again after all that time. Got to more than just in the production sense. We got to spend some time with him in the arm wrestling sense as well, training. Not that I gripped him; he was not ready to grip, but picked his brain on all things arm wrestling whilst I was getting hammered by the Istanbul club.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I like this new Engin Terzi, who is like not as aggressive as angry online social media. And I think it's not Engin. I think they've taken over the East versus West page from Engin, but then they've unblocked me from there. And now I started seeing Engin's personal Instagram page as well. So he also must have unblocked me, and I think
Yeah.
that followed me back
Look,
too.
look,
And he's getting more easy.
I know that I've heard directly from Engin's mouth that he appreciates you. He said people like Pradeep in the sport really feed the community. So I think he appreciates your position in the sport for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Engin I think still runs the East vs West Instagram page because when I've messaged it, I get Engin when he messages back. But there's probably multiple people admin on it or something. Who knows? Um, but anyway, Nugo Chikadze is the world's greatest arm wrestler in my opinion. Like, and I say that because, like, in the sense that he is like he looks. I'll tell you, Pradeep, he looks smaller in real life than he does on camera, and that makes it even more amazing. When I saw him for the first time, I said, "How can he possibly be facing Matt Mask?" Because I looked at Matt, he looked giant, and I just said, I kept on asking people. I asked Neil. I asked Matt himself. I asked a few other people. I said, I know you guys have seen Nugo pull. I haven't seen Nugo pull yet, but my brain is just not computing this. How is it even? How is it? Is he really as strong as worthy to face Matt? And Matt just beat Ongabayev with ease, and I'm like, how?
And how does he weigh 105 kilos? That is like
I
something which
know
I
he's
don't
he,
understand.
like he has. I'm not going to say his arms are small. When he's pumped, they get big. But his arms are small, pretty relative to all the other elite arm wrestlers that were there. His arms look small. They just look
Yeah.
normal. And I'm like, okay, okay. And then he proceeds to crush Matt Husk. And
Yeah.
I'm like, get out of town. Nugo is the best arm wrestler I've ever encountered. I messaged him. Chandler and I messaged him afterwards and said, we are massive fans. We would love to know your training regime because you're doing something right.
Mm.
Yeah, it was wild. It was wild and very funny too. Very funny. Do you think he can be the 105 kilo champ?
Nugo 105 champ is Devon still. So no, I don't think he can be the champ unless Devon is
You know,
there. I go if Petrenko steps up to 105 again, I don't think Nugo is beating Petrenko too. That can be
yeah.
difficult for him.
I'd like to see him face Devon just for the trash talk. Just for the trash talk. That would
But
actually be fire. Because
I don't
Nugo,
think so, Ryan. I don't think so because I've never seen a guy who's getting beaten on the table do trash talk. Like, have you ever seen like somebody gets destroyed round one and he's still trash talking? Like,
That's
I
why.
don't
That's
think.
why. That's why I love Matt Mask because he can trash talk whilst losing, and he does it
Yeah,
in a funny way. He did. He kept on going all night,
yeah.
and hats off to him. I love Matt Mask for that. But yes, Nugo would go silent if Devon took control. But I don't know. Like I just say this because like a dehydrated down to 105 kilo Devon. Yes, he's a badass, but Nugo's weird. There's something different
Mm,
about him. I don't know. Anyway.
yeah. He
I'm a
can have
Nugo
some
fan.
amazing matches like Nugo versus Prudnik. That can be
Yes.
a cool match as of now.
I know Nugo wants Todd Hutchins as well. Nugo could make 95 kilos easy.
Yeah.
At his height, he could be 95 kilos tomorrow, I'm sure.
I may be wrong though, but when he was facing, I think RVJ, at that time, I heard that he cuts weight to get to 105. Like, if this guy is weighing, let's say 108, 9 kilos, he should look like someone like maybe Don Underwood or Chan Shaw. He should be built like that, but he doesn't look like that.
Maybe his bones are made of adamantium or something. I don't know because he, like, frame wise, he's not a big guy. He's not a big guy. He's got narrower shoulders. He's 5'7" or something. Like he's not tall,
Yeah.
and he's not like he's kind of depth. The depth of his chest and back's kind of there, but he's got a little pot belly, and
Yeah.
he crushes Matt Mask.
Yeah. That
It was
the
so
way
good.
he beat RBJ, that should have, and also who else he beat? I think it was his second match at Eastward. This was King of the Table again. Has he competed at East versus West?
Yeah, well, he actually he lost to Petro Maharant at his
Oh yeah,
first win,
yeah. That was the
3-2.
match. That was the match.
Yes,
And
but
Lachlan, although he lost 3-0, that was a okay match, good match in my opinion. He did show
yeah,
us
well,
something in that match.
Petro is showing that he is very quietly becoming a contender. Like he's not. I don't see him at the Petrenko level and the Devon level, but he's showing that he's maybe fourth or something. And then you've got
Mhm.
Georgi Tautiev. Georgi Tautiev said he will not lose another match at 105 ever, which
Yeah.
is a big call given Devon's the champ, but he performed well. I want to see Tautiev and Nugo. I like to see that. Hey, Mark, he's back. Another one on your mark. You keep the last one, mate. Send this one to my boy Pradeep. Namaste. Bye. Did I pronounce that right? Namaste. Bye.
Namaste bhai. Namaste bhai. Yeah.
I'm learning. I'm trying to learn to speak a few languages at the moment. I'm getting
Yeah.
confused at how many languages there are in India.
Yeah, so
But
many.
too
So
many.
many.
How many do you speak?
I think Hindi, obviously, that's my main language, and then I'm from Haryana state, so but that is more like a dialect. If we speak in that language with some dudes from other state, they may not understand what we are saying, but it's not considered as an official language. So maybe you
Okay.
can count it as half a language. So Hindi, English, and then Haryanvi, so 2.5. And then we used to learn Sanskrit. Sanskrit in school, yeah. So
Oh,
but now
Sanskrit's crazy, isn't it?
yeah, I can read it. I can still understand it a little bit, but yeah, obviously it has been like more than 15 years since I studied it, so we've kind of lost touch of it.
Okay.
If you asked me this question like 15 years ago, I would have said three, but now it's like two and a half.
I can count to 10 in Assamese now, so that's something. Don't ask me to do it, but because that's too much pressure. But I think I
Yeah,
can.
yeah,
Anyway, back to arm wrestling. Um, Vitali and Devon. It's gonna happen now. It's gonna happen.
mm, yeah.
What's your opinion? My gut has always said Vitali, but what's yours?
I think I'll have to go with Devon. So far, I've not seen anything from Vitali which tells me that Devon shouldn't be able to stop him in the center. Like I'll genuinely be surprised if Devon is like stretched out and hanging in a king's move against Vitali. I don't think it's going to happen.
What if Vitali hooks?
Nah, Vitali would get destroyed in a hook. I don't think Vitali.
Really though,
First,
I've seen like practice pulls. I know practice pulls are just practice pulls, but
yeah.
every time I've ever seen them practice pull, they go kind of wrist on wrist, and Vitali just rolls.
Hmm. But I
Uh,
don't think he can hook Devon.
yeah.
Yeah, and he won't go there. Like he doesn't hook anyone in the matches, even if he can. It's not a possibility. I was wondering why Devon didn't accept this super match for this past event which happened a couple of weeks ago. He didn't go there. I think maybe he was scared of your 40 versus 50 age match. That's why Devon didn't show up there.
I did message him saying, "Oh, you covered? We're gonna do it. We will do it, Pradeep. This calendar year, I
60
will."
versus 60 versus 50. That would
No,
be
I know he's gonna kick my ass, but hey, I've asked for a particular set of rules. I said we don't have a referee. I get to put the strap on under all circumstances, and he's not allowed to complain about the strap at all. So I will give myself an extreme advantage in the strap.
yeah. Do you know what money in the bank is?
Yes,
I think you
yes.
should do something of that sort. Like Devon has a match against Vitali and he's all worn out, and then you show up with your contract, your
That's
briefcase, and you cash in,
that'd
and
be
then
good actually. Yeah, me versus Devon after he faces Vitali.
That
That's
would
when
be
we
awesome.
should do it. That's when we should do it. That makes it interesting because if he has a war, I don't know. Devon's endurance is stupid, but he's human. And if Vitali belts him around a bit and Devon has to really dig deep, that could work.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
It will
Because
be a good match.
yeah, I remember I gripped Dave Chafee and Vitali the day after they had their war, and they were both so sore. They were like, they honestly, a 3 month novice would have been able to beat them. They were both so beat up. So
Same.
even the elites can end up trashed. That's for sure. That's
Mhm.
true. But we'll find it. Either way, that match will happen at some point. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I might
I
go
think
live
Devon.
and
I
do
think
it too.
Devon wins it.
Devon wins it.
Yep.
He takes his wrist at center.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sure. 100%.
Even if he's shorter.
Yeah. Hermes took his wrist. Michael took his wrist. Why not Devon?
I my hesitation on thinking about the center table is that Devon has always used static pronation
Yep.
to collapse people, and static pronation won't actually reach Vitali's wrist flexion. He will need Vitali to attack, and it might happen in the defensive half. But I don't think at center he can use static pronation. He'd actually have to rise and bicep curl, which I don't know. I don't
Mhm.
know if his bicep curls enough because he doesn't use wrist rise to dismantle people. He uses static pronation, and if he's going to take Vitali's wrist at center, it'll have to be with a wrist up.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's a hard one, but
Mhm.
let's talk about the big main event of East vs West 18. I put a video out earlier this afternoon, and I want to ask you the question that I asked in the video, which was pretend you don't know Levan, pretend you don't know Hermes in terms of their history. And the
Mhm.
only bit of information you've got is their last two gym lifts, the 180 kilo cheat curl versus the 67 kilo riser curl. Which one would you be betting on if that was all you knew? And you knew that they're both well practiced arm wrestlers.
Yeah.
Which one?
I think it would have been an easier question for me to answer if you asked about that 92 kg back pressure curve because
Yeah, well, no,
that's
the 92 kilo. Let's forget about that.
okay.
To me, the most impressive thing is the 67 kilo riser curl. That
Yeah.
that blows my mind.
Mhm. So you're asking me if I don't know Levan,
Yeah.
okay, or
So you
and
didn't know
Hermes
that
they're
they've
saying
faced.
history.
You didn't know they've faced
Mhm.
before. You didn't know who's the champ. Nothing. Who would you bet
And I've
on?
never seen Levan do this similar lift, riser
Yes,
lift.
that's it. Just those two lifts. Which one hell holds more weight in this last moment before the match?
I would maybe I'll say Gasparini's 67 kilo riser because there may be a weird strong man who might be able to lift close to 180 kilos in the cheat card, maybe 160, maybe 170. They, even
Yeah,
maybe strongmen who don't have arm wrestling experience, maybe they
they
can
might be
do
able to
that.
beat it. They might be able to
But
beat it.
yeah, but this riser thing, that is something that no one else can do.
Yeah, Vitali Levan, I think, has the second best at 47 or something. Like, it's
I think Michael is also was also up to that number 40 47.
Michael's around 47.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, like, a 20 kilo difference between first and second. And
Mm,
it's not a 20 kilo difference on a deadlift, it's a 20 kilo difference on a little tiny movement, which is like, huh? I don't
yeah.
know. I'm so curious to see what on earth that translates to. I When I asked myself that question, I would bet on Hermes if it was just
Mhm.
that information.
Yep.
But with the context of knowing their history, I still say Levan's the favourite. But I'm now at the point where I'm not surprised at all if Hermes wins.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not surprised.
surprised at people who are saying that Levan is just going to crush Hermes. Like, what are
No.
we basing this information from on? Because the last time the match was, although you can look at the score, it was initially 4-0. You can say it was kind of one-sided. After that, Hermes was able to do something, but still, in the end, it was a close match, as many people would agree. But then, since That match, Levan has never said until now that he's in the best shape ever. After the Devon match, he said, which was the first match after his wrist injury, he said that I was like maybe 70% of my peak shape, and the wrist was only like 50-60%. Then the same thing in the Jerry match, he was close to, self admittedly, he was close to his peak shape, maybe 90%, not in the best shape ever. So now,
Yeah.
even if he's in the best shape of his life, how much he may have improved since the last Gasparini match, which probably was his previous peak shape, maybe, or maybe since the first Devon match, maybe a couple of percentage, 5%. While Hermes, on the other hand, he could have easily improved 10-15% since their last match a couple of years ago. And the gap wasn't that big even back then. So now it can be even closer.
Do you think? Do you think technically? Uh, do you think technically we're going to see a different shape from Levan, or do you think he'll just try the same thing? Do
I
you think
don't
he's
think
antici-
don't think it's possible to do anything against Hermes. What else are you going to do? You cannot flop press the guy. You cannot hook the
You
guy.
can, you can,
You have
you
to top roll
can.
Hermes.
What you can do is not overcommit to the top roll. He got stuck. He didn't know that Hermes had that dead wrist defense. He didn't know it was going to
Yeah,
stand up. So
yeah.
he overcommitted to the top roll and then couldn't and then made
Mm.
himself vulnerable. If he just halfway top rolled and then paused and says, "Now your wrist is gone. What are you going to do now?"
But he did
That
exactly that in the first round, if you remember. Levan hit him here, halfway top roll, definitely not overpronated, looked him in
yep.
the eyes, and then smashed him to the pad. He did that the first time, maybe, but he had that power in him,
Mm.
but maybe the gap was not so big that this thing started gassing out.
Yeah,
Like he couldn't, his
he
arm
started
couldn't
gassing
hold,
his own
he-
bicep.
yeah,
Yeah.
his bicep couldn't hold him here with that much pronation. That's why he had to overpronate. So maybe
I,
he
I
can use
would
less arm power.
I would not be surprised if Levan has trained a press, been
Mm.
focusing on a press. Because if he senses that bicep in his top roll gassing, he's going to need one. He's going to need to half top roll transition to a press, and I
Yeah.
think that will be enough. If Hermes is exposed with his arm in a defensive position, that will be enough. And I would bet that that's why Levan is not showing us his training other than one or two lifts every now and then. I'd bet there's a big press up his sleeve, ready and
But
prepared.
the thing that you're saying from not from a fully overpronated position, if Levan has Hermes Gasparini's wrist like this, not completely flattened out like
Mm.
this, then if he goes for a press, then he might lose his own wrist towards
Yes,
the end of the range of motion because he will keep pronating. So
yes,
that's the risk, and that was the reason he would have pressed in the first match. He tried to stand up a couple of times, but he felt his wrist going and his arm opening up. That's why
yeah.
Levan just switched back to the top roll. He did that. He tried that maybe 3, 4, 5 times in the first match. So everything
And
that we are saying Levan can do now, he tried all of that in their first match, and it
yeah,
didn't work.
and I remember Hermes saying after the defeat the first time, maybe a day or two after, he said, "Next time I faced him, my wrist will not go. My wrist will not go like it did."
It
Because he
will
said
go. It will go. It will
it,
surely
but
go.
it, it,
I can bet money on that.
it will go, but he doesn't want it. It will go to there, but he doesn't want it
Oh,
to go to there.
there it will be there.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's wrist is going to survive against Levan. Don't think so.
Even the 67-kilo rise?
Yep.
That's a lot of
Yep.
rise. That's a lot of
No.
rise.
Again,
That's a
the
lot of
size.
rise.
Hermes himself talks about it. Irakli the other day on Engin's podcast was talking about, yes, his back pressure is good, like a single arm hammer curl. Maybe Irakli can outlift Levan in that thing. But since the gap in the hand size, that's what creates the problem. Irakli was saying Levan just does this once, and my back pressure is gone. It's like
You
not there.
know, you know, with a rise that strong, and yes, there's issues with hand size when we're talking about top rolling for Hermes. With a rise that strong, Hermes could set a hook, a deep hook, if he used it. Like traditionally, a hooker wants wrist rise, deep grip, massive back pressure, followed by "Hello, there's my supination."
Mhm.
What would that blow everyone's mind if Hermes came out round one, massive post, bang, get a hook?
Yeah. Uh, I think forget about hooking Levan. I don't think anyone is even going to try it once.
No, someone will do it. Like I like to dream about all the random possibilities, and I just know that hookers love wrist rise, and if Hermes has the damn best wrist rise on the planet, then the hook is there if he wants it, and he'll get the rotation too. So he'd be all posted up and then boom, jump over all the rotation and put Levan palm up. Imagine that.
Yeah.
I don't know. There'd be like I said, I like to randomly dream about the shapes of arm wrestling. I do go down rabbit holes sometimes, and I start getting down to real near impossibilities. But one day someone's going to do something like that, and I can't wait for it.
Let's see.
Like
Let's
the
see.
round where Nugo put Matt Mask in the hook. Two top rollers, one with good wrist rise. Matt came a little too deep, and he went bang. There you go. I can do that.
Hmm.
I don't know.
But
It's not going.
it is something which has happened in the past, like not Krasi, but Sandris was able to easily hook and wrist curl Matt. So
Yeah,
it was not like Nugo did something which no one has able to do. But I guess it has been done to Levan as well. Krasi was able to hook him. Gennady was also able to hook him in the past, but not anymore. Now I don't think it's possible.
yeah, yeah. Hey, Pradeep, let me just check the time, guys. We just cracked 100 viewers, and we're just warming up, but we are going to kill the live in 4 minutes at 10:30
Mhm.
because the East vs West channel is going to be going live,
Yeah.
and we want to help get
And
all of you
you
guys
said
over.
Engin? Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry
Engin,
to cut you
it'll
off.
be on the Express West channel. I think it's going to be Engin, Robert Baxter, and Dexter Tan. So you got the three most powerful
Nice.
people in EVW.
Yeah.
So they're going to be live in 4 minutes. So if you got any last questions in this last 4 minutes from Pradeep, our guest, or myself, hit us up now. And if
Yeah.
not, we'll just keep talking.
I was asking you were invited by Engin for the Chicago event. Which one are you talking about? You just
Yes,
uploaded a video.
Chicago. Yes, so I will get to commentate this
Yeah.
match. This match.
Levan versus
Barn Hermes. That to me is like that I could retire a happy man having the
yeah.
opportunity to call a match like that. So I'm gonna get to call that match, and
This is Ryan. This is one style. Maybe you can let Engin know about this. One style of referring to events which I don't really understand. I don't really like. Now they've, instead of saying East versus West, 18, 19, 20, whatever, they've started saying Chicago event. They've started saying Arlington
yep.
event. For us who live outside of USA, who have never been there, we don't know anything. I don't know where Chicago is. I don't know where Arlington is, and I don't care. Give me the number, which East versus West. Don't confuse me. And now they've just stopped saying it. Like we rarely hear the number. Even Engin has started saying like the Chicago event,
We
the
want a East
Switzerland
versus
event, you know.
East versus West. What town are you from? I forgot. East versus West. Can we bring it to Delhi?
Yeah, I mean, Delhi will be a cool place. I think it will be a good place.
You
But
want
then they cannot.
if they put East versus West on in Delhi, if you want to be frankly honest, anywhere in India, I think you could put it in a football stadium and you'd fill it. You'd
Yeah.
actually fill the football stadium.
So the Asian Championship just happened in Delhi. So if we're okay with accommodating that many people and the proper Delhi can organize such an event, so maybe East versus West can tie up with them, and I think it will be cool.
I
Definitely,
can
India.
imagine. I can
The only
imagine
problem will be
a genuine
that
stadium.
yeah,
You'd fill a stadium easy in
that
India.
the only problem will be a ticket price. People may not be willing to pay that much, unlike cricket and some other sports. For arm
Yeah, but
wrestling, people may not.
given I think the pay per view is their main bulk
Yeah,
of earnings,
yeah,
so the ticket prices, yeah, they'd still make a. I think if you just charged appropriate Indian level ticketing to
yeah.
sports events,
But now
but
they're expecting like 2,000 ticket sales at $50 each. So what's that, like $100,000?
yeah, so we just get 100,000 Indian fans for $1, and then
No,
they're happy.
I don't think arm wrestling has.
You don't think there's 100,000 Indian fans of arm wrestling?
I don't
Easy.
think there are 100,000 paying fans who are willing to pay even a single dollar.
Okay. Okay.
I don't think that number exists if we combine the fans all over the
All
world.
right. What if we make it free entry to Hyderabad Stadium or something?
That's possible. That's possible.
That would fill
And
it. That would fill it.
and your quick thoughts about the Thodzilla versus Irakli match. There were some controversies about the elbow fouls and also discussing the Todd versus Rustam match. First time I genuinely saw Todd Hutchings a little bit mad in his after match video. Usually he's laughing, having fun, having his beer, but this time he was like a little bit pissed off. You can see that in his video. So he was saying that if we keep on going this way, referring to the round where he pinned Rustam, but then Rustam complained to the referees. They watched the review, and there was a small false start on Todd Hutchings. They had to redo that round. Todd was saying soon, if we keep on going that way, we'll have to bring our lawyers into the match to sort things out with the referees, and that's not good for arm wrestling. That will ruin arm wrestling. What are your thoughts about that?
Look! I think at the end of the day, we are. It's good. It's good to enforce rules as per the description, which is indiscriminate elbow fouls that gain no advantage will not be called. That they did that pretty well. But anything more should be called. And I think, yeah, it's fair to the camera setups that they had for King of the Table 14 were great. 4 cameras on. They had all angles covered on the elbow fouls. I thought that was good. I think Todd's got a right to be frustrated because he knows. Like, I don't think Irakli can beat Todd under any circumstances. He'll keep his elbow down this time. He will, and he'll prove that he's just stronger in the right lane against Irakli. So, the Irakli match happening again is. I think it's. I understand why the fans are a little frustrated because we've seen it a bunch of times, but it's actually really a pure thing, and I respect Engin's choice on it because he does look back and see those fouls that were missed. So he says, "No, we'll rerun it and do it again. We'll find out." So it's respect for the sport. So I think it's a good thing. But total line him up and knock him down. But Rostam was a problem for him. He was getting confused. He looked strong, but he didn't have a shape to pin. And anyway, Pradeep, I have to apologize, but we got to
Yeah,
go. We
yeah.
got to. We'll do this. Let's do this again because
Again,
this
yeah.
is.
There was a comment to asking like if this could be the new team to replace the Bowen and RVJ weekly podcast. Uh, I'm ready
Yeah,
for that. We can do a weekly thing.
I'm ready for that, and I like it in this format. We could do one week my channel, next week your channel, until YouTube works out how to collaborate it and put it on both.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, guys, thank you for joining in. Guys, head over to the EVW YouTube channel now. They are live right now. Robert Baxter, the owner director of EVW Sports, Dexter Tan, who's the the COO of EVW Sports. He's there, and I think Engin will be popping in as well. So some opportunities to ask the big dogs the question about what's coming up in the EVW Sports network. All right, Pradeep, thank you for joining me, man.
Thank you,
What
brother.
time do you get?
Bye.
What time have you eaten dinner yet?
Yeah, yeah.
You have. What time do you go to bed in India? Everyone goes to bed so late,
For me, it's like 2 a.m.
and that's not that abnormal, is it? Like
Yeah, no, no.
everyone.
Yeah.
I'm getting used to people messaging me saying, "Hey, do you want to catch up?" And I'm like, "It's 11:30." And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Yeah, we go catch up at 11:30." I'm like, "Okay, that's so weird." I'm not
Yeah.
used to it, but anyway, enjoy. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
See you, mate.